Hey guys, my name is Danish and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to tackle another topic of best budget smartphone for under 40,000 rupees. So I'm gonna keep the range from 30,000 rupees to 40,000 rupees, and I'm gonna add all the models that were there that were launched about a year ago, from about August or September of last year to up till now, all the way up to September of this week whenever I'm uploading this. So I'm going to include all the models which have a base model which starts within this range, and there might be a higher end model with more RAM and more storage with a slightly above this 40,000 mark margin. So without further ado, let's just get started. So before I get started, I have a few disclaimers that I need to talk about over here. I do not have any of these devices with me. I have not tested them personally. I am going based solely on the specification list and all of the feature sets that they have included. And this is not a foolproof guide that you can follow to buy your dream phone in your price range, but just as a guide to push you in the right directions based on your specific criteria and things that you might have more weightage than what weightage that I give to all of these specs. So let's just get started with the spec list of all of the devices that are in this price range. So starting out from Vivo, we have the X60 and the X50 from last year. We have the Vivo iQOO 7 Indian version and the international version. The Indian version has 3 cameras vertically and the international version has it like this, 3 in a triangle. Then we have the Oppo Reno 6 Pro, and we have 3 entries from MI, the MI 10T and 10T Pro from last year, and the MI 11X Pro. As you remember, in the previous video of the under 30 budget, one of the MI devices came out on top. I think it was the MI 11X Lite. I don't really remember, but you can go and check it out over here in this video right up here. Then we have the Realme GT, and we have the OnePlus 8T from last year and the 9R from this year, and we have the Samsung A52s which was launched really recently, and the Pixel 4a, which is the only stock Google experience that we have currently in India. The 5a isn't coming to India, the 5 didn't come to India, the 6 isn't gonna come to India, so the 4a is the only stock experience that you can buy right now, and it is a year old. So the first criteria, and all of the prices are over here, listed over here. You can pause the video and check out all the prices. All of these prices are from their official websites or partner websites that they sell directly through either the Vivo India website or MI India website or Flipkart or Amazon. They might be lower on the other third-party sites, but you might have to look for those deals because they are not announced earlier, and you might have to be on the lookout and grab a deal whenever you can. So now let's start out with the criteria that I have and all of the points that I'm going to allocate for all of these devices. So first criteria is processor. So we have a abundant list of processors over here. We have 3 phones with Snapdragon 888, 3 phones with 870, 2 phones with the Snapdragon 865, 2 phones with the Snapdragon 730, the Samsung with the 778 recently launched processor, and then we have the Oppo Reno with the Dimensity 1200 chip. So on a scale of performance, I can put the 888 at the top. At tier 2, we have 3 processors, the Dimensity 1200, the 870 and the 865, who are really close to each other in performance. So with a small margin of error, I can't really allocate 3 of them to 3 separate places, so that gets into second place. Third place comes to the Snapdragon 778 in the Samsung, and then we have this Snapdragon 730 in the bottom position. So we have 4 tiers, so a maximum of 4 points for the 888, 3 points for the Dimensity and the 870 and 865. 778 gets 2 points and the 730 gets 1 sole point. So I'll start out with all of the numberings over here and update them as I go through each tier. The next tier are also connected to the processor. So this is the storage. So there are a few storage variants or speed specifications that are there on the smartphone. So all of the smartphones here use the UFS system, thank God, but 4 phones do not give the fastest storage variant right now. So A52, Oppo Reno 6, Vivo X50 and Pixel 4a are giving UFS 2.1 storage instead of UFS 3.1, which is the norm and which is the fastest. And at this price range, the 2.1 I cannot really give a pass. And also the Oppo Reno 6 has UFS 3.1, but it's limited to only China models and not global models. So that is a bit of a stinger, but nonetheless all of these 4 devices get -1 point for the lack of not keeping the best storage tier possible at this price range. Next, again connected to storage and the processor, is the RAM, and all of the devices in this price range or even price range below this have already started giving 8 gigs of RAM as standard. So there are 3 phones which are giving 6 gigs of RAM as standard for the base variant. You will get more if you upgrade to the upper variant, but I'm going to concentrate on the base variant, and the Mi10T, the Samsung A52s and the Pixel 4a all provide 6 gigs of RAM, which is frankly not really up to the mark in terms of the market trend right now and the pricing right now. So all of those three get -1 point. And then we come to structural integrity over here and all of the things that you touch and feel, and in this I don't have too many places to complain because all of them are 6 inches or above in diagonal screen size. The Pixel 4a is a bit of a smaller device, but people do prefer smaller phones, so I'm not going to award any points over there. All of them are 1080p by 2400, give or take a few pixels here and there, so I'm not going to cut any points over there as well. Most of them are AMOLED or OLED panels, so I'm not going to cut any points over there, and that is one of the few things that they all have in common and kept and maintained. But coming to the crux of the moment here is having a plastic frame. I don't care if it has a plastic back, but it needs to have an aluminum frame at this price point, because devices below this price point also are giving metal frames with plastic backs to save money here and there a little bit. But the Samsung A52 is completely plastic, the Vivo X60 also has a plastic frame, and the Pixel 4a is completely plastic front, back and internally as well. So those three phones get -1 point just because when you're buying a phone in this price range, you hope it to be strong and metal and not break from a little bit more pressure than normal. So I am going to deduct a point from all of these devices. After this, coming on to expandability and 3.5mm. Only 3 phones have 3.5mm jack, which gives a bonus point for all these 3 devices. The Realme GT, the A52s and the Pixel 4a has a redemption at least by giving itself a 3.5mm jack. People are still using 3.5mm jack headphones. I obviously am. I have my Audio Technicas right here, which I use every day, be it with my phone or with my system to edit and work with. So 3.5mm jack is really important to me. And the SD card expansion, only the Samsung has provided SD card expansion ability, although it is a hybrid SIM slot, so you will lose out on a SIM port when you are putting in an SD card slot, but that is a feature that most of the power users would love to have, so I'm gonna give it 1 extra point over there. And talking about the hybrid SIM slot, all of these phones are dual SIM capable, and all of these phones are 5G capable, so you don't have to worry about 4G or 5G or any of those limitations, even though we don't have any 5G architecture over here in India. Or yeah, so let's move on to the another point in the display, which was not resolution but refresh rate. So at this price point, having a 60Hz refresh rate panel is a bit of a disadvantage, because even budget models below this, like the OnePlus Nord and the Realme X3 and all, are providing 90Hz refresh rate displays, and it is really unacceptable to have a 60Hz refresh rate over here. So the only one failure point over here is for the Pixel 4a, which gets -1 point, but I'm giving a few bonus points for other devices which all provide either 120 or 144 Hz displays. I'm giving 1 point for all of these devices. And now coming on to rear cameras. Now this is one of the sticking points that I have a lot to talk about, that is amount of useless cameras there, optical image stabilization and all of that. So but I'm gonna start out with outright recording capability. So this is either all of these devices do 4K 30 or 60 recording, but only 3 devices do 8K recording. So those are all the 3 MI devices, so the 11X Pro, 10T Pro and the 10T. All 3 of them can do 8K recording at 30 fps and 4K at 60. So I'm gonna give 1 bonus point to these 3 devices. And now coming on to the elephant in the room, that is the useless cameras that are attached to all of these devices. So I'm gonna count only 3 cameras as the primary cameras. All of these useless cameras, so the macro camera, the depth camera, the monotone camera, all of these are fluff that are just used to increase the number of camera count in their blurb and just to show off that they have more cameras than everybody else. So all of you companies, I'm going to penalize you for having useless cameras. Most of them have 1, a few devices have 2 useless cameras, and they lose out a lot of points right here. You can just remove those cameras and reduce the price point a bit more, dude. You can give a lot more performance if you sell it at a lower tier, like under 30. If you are giving a 888 and reducing 1 more camera, you can pull it down to under 30 and you can have a killing in the market. But alas, I cannot talk about that. And also the 4K. Now coming on to the IP rating of the device, only 1 device is IP rating, Samsung. I'm going to give it 1 point. All the other devices in this do not have any official IP rating. They might have unofficial gaskets and all of that installed on the device, but they haven't gone and gotten the certification because it's additional cost that they have to push to the user. I can understand, but having an IP rating is just some semblance of peace of mind that your device device can survive a light splash when you're out in the rain or you're coming from the office back home and on your bike and your phone is in your jeans pocket. So all of that issues are there, so Samsung gets 1 point over here. 4K selfie cameras, only one phone does give here 4K selfie recording for video, and that is the Samsung, so I'm going to award it 1 point. And a lot of these devices have 20MP, 16MP or 32 megapixel cameras, and they cannot provide a 4K stream from that. All you need is 12 megapixels to get a 4K stream out of. So what are you guys doing? Either it is a software limitation or what, I don't know, or whatever you have implemented, but I would like to see a lot more devices with 4K recording on the selfie mode, because a lot of people are starting to vlog and record whatever they're doing. So having a selfie camera that can record in high res is really good selling point to have. But alas, I'm not in those boardrooms discussing about the features, so I'll just rant over here on YouTube. And if you like this video, give this video a like and get subscribed to my channel and ring the bell icon to receive notifications of more of my fun videos. Now back to the breakdown. I have 2 more features that I'm going to give a bonus point for. The first point is stereo speakers. Most of the devices have stereo speakers other than 4 devices, so I'm going to give all of these devices plus 1 point. Stereo speakers is just using the in-ear loudspeaker to increase a bit of volume and give 2 channels of audio to the device and make it sound a bit more louder and a bit more fuller and improve the engagement. And talking about the other salient features, all of these devices have NFC, so I'm not going to add or deduct any points. Most of these devices have Wi-Fi 6, but Wi-Fi dual band AC is more than enough for most consumers and they won't even know the difference between the both, so I'm not going to count that as a feature per se. Just good to have, but you won't miss it if it isn't there, so I'm not going to give it any points. The MI devices have an infrared sensor which you can use to connect to TVs and all of that. If you like that feature, you can add a point over here for yourself, but I don't really see a use for that feature, so I'm not going to give it any points. It's good to have, you won't miss it if it isn't there, because it isn't there in most of the devices over here in this lineup, and it's a totally niche kind of requirement to have that as a feature when you're buying a new phone, so I'm not going to include that in this. Another thing that irked me was having optical image stabilization on your main rear sensor. Most of the phones have it, but a lot of phones don't really have that, and I don't understand why. The Mi 11 Pro, the Realme GT, the Mi 10T Pro and the Mi 10T along with the Oppo Reno 6 Pro do not have optical image stabilization on their main rear sensors. I don't know what they're doing. EIS is not a substitute for OIS. EIS can do a bit, but optical image stabilization does most of the work in stabilizing recording video. Even though Mi has given 8K recording capabilities but no OIS, means it's a bit of a discrepancy and looks a bit odd, so include optical image stabilization next time when you are launching a new phone, Mi, please. And my rant out of the way, the last point that I'm going to talk about is batteries, and only one phone has less than 4000 mAh battery, which is the Pixel 4a, because it's a tiny phone. It has 3140 milliamp hours for its battery capacity, and nearly all the phones have 4000 plus, and some have 5000 as well as their battery, so I'm going to reduce 1 point for the Pixel 4a. And coming to charging, all of them start with at least an 18-watt charger, and most of them go up to 65 watts, 33 watts. It doesn't really matter to me because fast charging is not really good for your battery, and at the slower you charge, the more battery health you can maintain, so it's up to personal preference how fast you want to charge your device, so I'm not going to talk about that. I guess that's it for all these devices, that all of the specifications that I've talked about, all of these features that they have. There might be more salient features that you might like the OnePlus notification toggle with 3 modes and all of that, or some of the UIs that you might like more, like the Oxygen OS or the Realme OS or the Fun Touch or stock Android. Those are all personal preferences that you might have to look out for and look into before deciding to buy your devices. But now coming to the final tally, we have 3 devices which have the maximum points over here, which is 6 points that they have earned, which is the Mi 11X Pro, the Realme GT and the Vivo iQOO 7 at 6 points. And at the first position of the throne, we have 2 devices in P2 that are the Vivo iQOO 7 Indian version, so the 3 vertical cameras, and the Mi 10T Pro in position 2. And we have 4 phones in position 3. Wow, that's a lot of competition to buy. The OnePlus 9R, the Mi 10T, the OnePlus 8T and the Samsung 852s all stand at 4 points and are equal on their standing at the 3rd level peg of the steps. And we have 4 devices that are out of the running. So the Vivo X60 got 3 points, admirable but little bit far from the top 3. The Oppo Reno 6 Pro and the Vivo X50 lose out with 0 points. Yeah, the Vivo X50 is a year old device, so it does have a few drawbacks over there, but the Pixel 4a coming at -1 point is a bit of a disappointment because it loses out on a lot of the features that the Chinese brands provide and the value that Chinese brands provide. And really, if you look at all the devices over here, we have China representing the majority of the devices, Samsung providing one device as the Korean representative, and Pixel 4a representing one device from the West. So yeah, the Pixel 4a loses out a lot, but congratulations to the podium winners. We have a lot of podium winners, 3 plus 2, 5 plus 4, 9 devices that are eligible to be looked at. So I hope I cut down your search to look for a device in this price range and you have 9 options to choose from. I know it didn't help a lot. I had 13 to begin with and I ended up with 9, but you get the gist and you get the weightage that I give to all these devices, and you can adapt your program to whatever you like and look through all the other reviews about how the camera performs, how the device performs in thermal restrictions and all of that, and narrow down your search even more, and hopefully you make an educated purchase for yourself or your family members. And hope this video is a part of that education and research for purchase decision. Hopefully I might have helped a few people, but yeah, I can't please everybody, but I try to give as much information as I can. So I guess that's the end of this video. If you like this video, give this video a like, get subscribed to my channel and ring the bell icon to receive notifications of all of my future videos. Follow me on my social media channels, which are linked in the description below as well. And as always, stay home, stay safe. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.